There we go. I know what happened. I pushed the wrong one. So anyway, jumping back over here. So we had, this is where we were in July, right here. We had come up off the lows in June and gone sideways. And then now we've come up here. I was expecting a healthy bullish pullback right here in this blue zone, right where I put these blue arrows right here. I was expecting a nice, healthy, bullish pullback. We didn't get that. Instead, we kind of consolidated sideways a little bit and continued pushing higher. That's concerning. This makes a big red cautionary tail right here. Like, this is a problem. We didn't get a healthy bullish pullback. We just went straight on up there. Kind of a three-way move on the hourly chart. On the daily chart over here, it was just one big, massive push up higher. This can lead us right into a massive correction that can take us to a lower low. I was expecting this to take a little longer. Instead, we've popped right on up there. This is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. If you're long right now, consider booking some profit, taking, just sitting it out for a little while and see what happens. Stopping right on that 618, super dangerous. I'm super cautious. And at the minimum, we can drop right back down here to 4,000 very quickly, like in a matter of days. So want everybody to be ultra, ultra cautious here. This looks the same on NASDAQ. Looks the same on Russell. We are in a very dangerous position right now for a sudden drop situation. Clean this up just a little bit. Go from the high down to the low. We've come up just a little bit shy of the 618 on NASDAQ. But this whole thing, very corrective, not very bullish action right here. Now, we've seen this before where we popped up through the 144 EMA and dropped. This can happen one more time on NASDAQ. Be very cautious. See what we did early, back here early in the year in March, poked up through and rolled over and went way on down. And very cautious. This happens again. Very, very cautious. The last time we poked a little bit through the 618 of this first drop and then rolled over. So we could have just a little bit more push. But the odds are that we're going to see some sort of pullback. Even if it pulls back and we find some support and then go higher, like I was drawing over here, we're due some pullback. So just want everybody to be watching out, cautious. Oil is trucking right on down to the target zone here. Keeps pushing a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Watch out for a strong reversal. If we reach down there and touch it, we can get a strong reversal off this zone right in here. My target zone, somewhere in there. We can get a strong reversal out of there and run up to 150. Now, if it breaks down, it can keep on going down. But I don't see that as highly likely right now, especially since there's lots of headwinds in oil. So be careful on oil. Careful shorting oil, be careful long oil until a pattern shows up. GC, reversing off that roadmap line, arcing back down. We could get that one final push lower to the lower low around 1620 that I've been looking for like a year. So, all righty. We can pop up in NG1 here. Nice. Muted me out. All right. NG1. So natural gas pushing up today. It's into this resistance zone we've had. Looking for the breakout. So we've tested that area once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's the 5th time. Looking for a pop up to this 15 area up here. Ways to play that, like UNG right here. That's reaching up. We've got the high we made back earlier in the year, right around this 33 area, almost reaching that today. Look for extensions out to 38, possibly up to this 47 to 50 area up here if we really get going. Move this target up here. So, all right. What happened today? We hit the 618. That's what happened at 2 p.m. We hit that 618 level and bounced down. Kind of fascinating how that's what happened, right? Roll back up here. Pop down to a 30-minute chart. If we zoom it up, we reached right up there, touched it, and then sudden drop. My levels are drawn a little sloppy on this chart, but we reached right up there to it and pull back. And this could lead to a much bigger pullback. So all right. Here, I'll share a screen for you. See if that clears it up just a little bit. So we reached right up there. My numbers are sloppy. My levels are sloppy. I always say that these fib levels are kind of fuzzy a little bit because it depends on what exactly the low is you touch. What exactly the high is you touch. All right. Moving on down. Pop back up to the daily chart. Messed up my levels here. Bitcoin is still trucking in this channel. Now, they've kind of firmed up the Ethereum merge a little bit, where they're going to go proof of stake. Ethereum 1.0 effectively is frozen, and everybody starts using Ethereum 2.0. That's looking like it's going to happen around September 15th is when that block is going to get mined, minted, and effectively stopping traditional mining and moving over to proof of stake. That's coming up less than a month as of today. So that's a headwind that's sitting out here for Ethereum and Bitcoin and all of sitting right there. That's a wall. Now, if they mess up this proof of stake merge thing, you can see massive damage done to crypto all over the place. If it works out and everything's great and hunky-dory, this could be the catalyst that kicks off the pre-Bitcoin halving run. Bitcoin halving taking place March 2024. If you weren't sure, typically every halving event, Bitcoin 10x's, and it usually kicks off its run 12 to 18 months ahead of the merge, or ahead of the merge, ahead of the halving event. And that's halving just means that the rate of payout for mining a block of Bitcoin gets cut in half. So that's coming in roughly March of 2024. So 18 months out, September 2022. We're right in the face of it. So coming up, we could have made the low back here. Of course, there is opportunity that this is a bear flag and we do another leg down. That distinct possibility sitting out here, and this catalyst could be the event that causes one more leg down. So be careful either way. Any way you cut it. All right. I'll get to requests in just a moment. So Justin was taking some requests ahead of time, so I'll hit some of those first. For those that were hanging out early, say GOOG. Yeah, coming up to the 144 EMA, the roadmap line. Find a little resistance. It's gonna go whichever way that the bigger market goes for NASDAQ right now. So this is a great place for it to make one more turn down. It has broken out of this box that it's been in, but it stopped right at the 144 EMA. So OXY. Yeah, that sitting right at the resistance here that it's had for a couple weeks. A breakout higher, can take it higher again. Although last time the breakout higher only really got a little extension and then a big pullback. So watch out there. OXY is heavily invested in by Berkshire Hathaway, old Warren Buffett, but it is a petroleum corporation right there. Petroleum corporation. So oil's prices can drag this down again before it could pop, potentially. All right, BE, the next one. Yeah, looking like it's working on a bullish breakout here. Needs to, if you didn't get long already, I would want to see it pull back up through that high before I just bought. Is in the face of a bigger market pullback, you know, warning, we could see a pull down here. And then ACI, that's bearish, looking for lower lows. It's got to get above that trend line there, above that roadmap line. To be bullish, it would need to do something like this and then pull back, hold the roadmap line, and then keep going. That's the bullish case. This would be my primary expectation. Move down. All right, FTV. Yep, breaking out. Looks good. Where's it going? That's a good question. Until we get another pullback, there's no great way to know. We're hitting the 618 right here. Firm breakout. You know, it has no real pullbacks in this move up here, so I would be cautious that we see a bigger pullback, just like the market, before we can get the run on out to extensions. All right, Uber. Consolidating below this resistance up here that we're going to need to get above to go higher. Nice gap up on earnings, looks like. But we can roll over and do a retrace. All right, RH. Yeah, coming up to the roadmap line here. Touched in the target. Yeah, looking constructive. It does need a pullback. Hadn't really pulled back at all here. So it would not surprise me to see a pullback that did this before we broke out higher. All right, shop. And still kind of consolidating here. Hadn't really come up to test the roadmap line yet. Got a ways to go. I wouldn't really mess with that one right now until it gets out of this funk. It can easily break down and go one more lower low. Not overly bullish yet All right, F. I'm bullish on Ford. It did this little pullback I was looking for, making the next run higher. And I got some big lofty goals for several years out. This is the kind of action we want to see. Break up through, kind of pull back, make the next run out. Just based on this pullback, we expect to see a little bit of resistance as we come up into this 1850 area. It may consolidate just a little bit there before it can break on higher. I'd watch for resistance at this prior high around 25.26, also on the move up. All right, AMD. Yeah, it's kind of stuck on the roadmap line right now. If it breaks this trend line of the lows, we're going to go lower. It can get bullish and break out above this high that we had back here in June. Then we can look higher. But right now, we're kind of stuck in this like triangle wedge thing that can lead to a lower low. All right, AMZN. Yeah, it can drift a little bit higher, but that's still a dangerous little spot right there. It gapped right up through that resistance. I'd watch for it to come back and test that again. Right there. If it doesn't hold, it may fill that gap back down there. Just cautious right there on Amazon because it spent a lot of time sideways over here way before the split. And this was all sideways. And we're just coming up into the bottom there. So it's got a lot of headwinds to go to get broken out and head to 200. All right, TECK. Same story, different chart. Come up to the roadmap line, park there for 4 days. We need a retrace. All these kind of need a retrace. Coming up just shy of the 618 of this drop from June down here into July. All right, HCC. That one's looking lower to me. Probably $9. NFG. Consolidating right above the 618. Looking for pop on up here. Target area up there. Nothing really changed. UNG already covered. Looking for a bullish breakout above the highs from back here in June. All right, in AR. Yeah, it's just kind of stuck right there in the orange zone. Tried to break above today, couldn't do it. Hadn't broken down either. So stuck in the orange right now. If it can break out, it'll go higher to the targets up here. If it breaks back down below this line down here, it'll probably retest this low. All right, and then CRSP, and then I'll take some stuff out of the chat. Yeah, just kind of consolidating there. Needs the retrace. And this whole big move up, looking for some sort of retrace. That's a biotech, so those are a bit unpredictable. They don't always follow the fib stuff as well. Alrighty. BBBY. That's like playing with matches when you get your hands soaked in gasoline right there. You see what it did though. Right up to this trend line. Tried to push above and got smacked down. I would be cautious, especially if we get a bigger market pullback. This is basically return of the meme stock situation. I mean, it was down here, 360, ran all the way up here to 53. It's worked its way back off, back down almost to that same 360 level, stopped at 439. And then in the last few days, it's shot back up here, topping at about 27 a day. Had some market halts in a very exponential way. And there's nothing to say that this won't pop to 150 or 200 or something like that, GME style. If you weren't around GME last year early, it did this ridiculous move. And we had a split, so the numbers aren't nearly as high as they were. Get a 4-for-1 split. But this was like, 4-for-1, so that was 400 and something. And then it pulled all the way down. So AMC is another one that falls in the same vein of crazy hype, short squeeze, crazy stuff. I do own some AMC stock and have calls sold at $20 or $21. So, alrighty. NIO. Yeah, it looks like final resistance to the roadmap line. That's not overly bullish, kind of bouncing down. May see a pull down even further to the 618 down here around 15. All right, Zillow Group. That's a downtrend. Yeah. So we break through there, expect lower prices. All righty. XOK. Yeah, that's getting close to breaking out. Yeah. Breaking through. Let's see how proportional that move down was. Yeah, 272. That has good proportion to it. I would watch out for that zone right there. Watch out for resistance right there. All right, XLY. I dumped my XLY, looking for a pullback. Did that last week. We are coming up into this resistance right in there. I'd use caution. We haven't got, I mean, this has just been straight up with no pullback. That's not overly bullish. DNA. And bouncing off the roadmap line there. Got to get above there to get more bullish. Found some resistance there. Needs to break on up through. That orangey line is the roadmap line. Tesla. I sold my shares that I've been holding. Looking for a bigger pullback. Bought those shares down here around 680. Sold them out up here right around 900. About $200, a little over $200 a share I made. Looking for a pullback from here because this is not It's not just breaking higher. So we did get that pullback almost to the roadmap line, but we're failing to make a higher high immediately. Watch out for one more. It tends to correct in a three-way, and it didn't really do that yet. So could be 1, 2, 3. Could push down to this 800 area, even down to 780 again in an ABC fashion. I feel like this was likely before we see that. All right, mRNA. It's still working on not quite that bullish. This little move a little smaller. Yeah, so that can be constructive if it can hold there. If it can't hold there, see, this is what I wanted to see on Tesla, where it made a higher high. Hadn't really done that. Didn't just pop up and do that. But I'd use caution if we break below this low right here. Then we can see a deeper retrace here. All right. Already did Tesla. Apple. Yeah, that's getting extended right there. I would exercise some caution. That's one big move up. This correction. Yeah. And you can just break right on out and get the high, the new higher high up here on 201. But there's not been any kind of pullback. So I'm like, that's a big red flag. These are not sustainable type moves when they do that. See, sustainable stuff is like pull back, move, pull back, move, pull back, fail, go a little lower, pull back, move. That's just like a big straight move. So I sold my Apple shares. Still have 2 that are underwater until 175. And Mara found resistance at the roadmap line and pulled back. Now I had that count on here. Took just a little bit longer. Come on now. Right there. I was already expecting that to pull back. Now, big opportunity right here. If this pulls back to the 618 or even the 50%, which I don't have turned on right here. If it pulls back to here or to here, this target zone right here, I am going to add more shares, because if it does that, it has a very clear, very, 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 very clear opportunity to go right up to this 50 area in a very quick fashion. This is the measured bounce setup I teach in the fib class. If it does this, particularly to the 618 right there. And as soon as it breaks through whatever candle is before it hits the 618 level, right in here, as soon as it breaks up through there, targeting this area up here. I'll probably add more positions when that happens, if it happens. It's got to get the pullback. I wouldn't buy now. SMG. That looks horrible. That looks like it's going to continue to go lower. Nothing bullish there yet. It's going to take a lot of work on SMG. DDD, I'll take a few more and then I'll wrap this up. That also looks like it can bounce down very easily. J&J. Yeah, where's the bottom going to be? I don't know. Hitting some of these levels that don't matter because they're from long, long ago. See, that was 3-wave corrective. That was a sharp up move. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Could get finished at this red line, but potentially extend to the that line somewhere in there is where I would expect it to push down before it finds support and reverses. You can bounce out of here. All righty. Take LNG. Yeah, hit the target. Next extension up, 171.56. That was beautiful. Perfect. Perfect roadmap trade right there. Roadmap line trade. Bounce right off the roadmap line, right up to the target. Next target up, 171.56. All righty. I don't have time for all the rest of them. I'm going to have to wrap this up. 30 minutes awesome is what I promise. So let's go over and pop up this. So if you didn't catch it earlier this morning, I'm launching a brand new dedicated class to equip you with a class of trade tools that I bet you've almost totally overlooked. It's not your fault. The fact is, a lot of gurus out there, well, they avoid this topic with traders like you because it's not very sexy for them. But I want to teach you how a select group of trading techniques can set you up for a lifetime of leveraging the market to collect premium, control your risk, and even cash in when you're not even sure which direction the market's going to go. So let me say that again. Some of these tools are designed to help you trade even when you have not a clue where the market's about to go. There's nothing boring about that, right? I mean, there's nothing too complicated either. I mean, it's pretty cool when you can trade and not even have to know where the market's going to go next. So I'm dedicating the month of September, the next month of my life, to teaching you these powerful techniques in what I call the Versatile Trader Workshop. We're going to be talking through each technique week by week, starting with how to read the markets first for these setups. And then I'm going to show you what I look for to identify the best trade opportunities so that you can begin to stack the probability in your favor. Then in class number 2, I'm going to take those techniques and teach you how to create aggressive setups for when you do have a strong feeling about market direction, but you want a little protection. Eventually, you can get really aggressive like this long-term forward trade that I put on that has a potential 1,700% return with the risk to reward. You know, you risk one and potentially make over 17 times your money on this trade right here. I can teach you how to do those. And that's what's going to be covered in week 2. But if you're feeling a little more cautious, we've got class number 3. We're going to teach you how to set up trades that target, 5 to 15% return by identifying a money zone where you make money if the stock kind of stays in this zone over here. And you don't have to be right about where what direction it goes. This approach is kind of the heartbeat of the time loop trades beta test that just closed. So if you're not in that program, I'm sorry, but if you are in that program, you're probably not going to want to miss this class either. Then finally, we've got the crown jewel, the only true market neutral trade out there. And I'm serious with this trade. You can set a range on the market and collect it even if you have no idea, just assuming the market's going to go sideways. It's one of the most powerful, beloved trade strategies out there by those who know how to use it best. And almost completely overlooked by 99% of people that have no idea out there. So 4 weeks, 3 powerful trade setups, all dedicated to helping you succeed in these volatile markets. Here's the classes. But you know me, I always throw in some bonuses and reports to help you get started even quicker. So we've got the spread trade target finder and then spreads at a glance. Those are coming out just as soon as we can get them produced. And this is something else I'm excited about. Every week in September, I'm going to hand pick a trade alert that we can trade together so you can hit the ground running. I'll put out at least one a week and maybe one of each of the different trades. We'll see. Be at least 4 trades and maybe quite a few more. This is the biggest options class that I've ever offered. I'm only asking $397 to join me. That's less than $100 a week. Plus extra S on plus, I'm backing it with a complete satisfaction guarantee through the end of our class in September. So you'll have the entire purchase covered. If you don't like what I teach you, haven't learned anything, just call and get your money back. So I'm going to build this class from the ground up to help you trade with these tools and in these markets that we have right now. If you're in my time loop beta test, it's a perfect class for you to hone some skills on spreads. But even if you've never traded a spread before, my goal is to leave you feeling confident to use these techniques for a lifetime of taking advantage of the markets. So if you're ready to join me, head over to jeffreytrader.com/VTW or call my team 855-454-0816 to reserve your seat in the Versatile Trader Masterclass. I recommend you paper trade. There's no portfolio size for paper trading. You should definitely get some of these trades under your belt before you take them with real money. But, honestly though, for debit spreads, you can do it with, that 4 trade, you could probably put on one contract with say a $100 account. If you have options trading, like at Tastyworks or Webull, there's no margin required. If you want to do the credit spreads, you probably need a little bigger account. I think most of E-Trade probably require you to have $2,000 or $3,000 account. I'm not saying that the 4 trade is a smart trade to do in a $100 account. I have not done it in my small accounts. All right. This is not part of Time Loop, so this is a whole standalone class. We'll cover some of the content in Time Loop, but this is a standalone class. Everybody's been asking me for spreads. Debit spreads are not part of Time Loop. Iron condors are not part of Time Loop. So this is something added on. Any other questions? We'll wrap up 30 minutes of awesome. I don't have any more questions. RUDOIC? What? I already did, requests. Yeah, I'm not gonna do back spreads or anything like that. I'll talk about the risks of things like that, but I cut my teeth. I got started options trading with back spreads and ended up short $2 million of Apple stock in a $5,000 account. So they're not all iron condors. Week 4 is iron condors. I plan to do at least 30 minutes of content, 30 minutes of questions. It wouldn't surprise me if the classes all lasted an hour and a half or so. I haven't taught class 2 or 3 in less than an hour, I don't think. And class 4, I've never taught before at all. So we've got some stuff to talk about there. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Probably looking at 6 hours of class or more potentially, and then you get in Discord, so you've got this forever. These are 2 o'clock starting next Tuesday. 2 o'clock each Tuesday for 4 weeks starting next Tuesday. You left that one out there, Steven. Anything else? Anything else? All right, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week for 30 minutes awesome. remember, check this video out right here. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you again next week.